Hello everybody, Friday of week 4. So, today we're going to talk about singing other melodic dissonances. So last week we talked about singing sevenths and tritones, and basically at this point we're unlocking any possible diatonic interval in major and in minor. So we're going to do some singing, and we're going to end with a single dictation today. That will kind of have some of these odder intervals. And when we say odd intervals, we don't necessarily just mean odd sizes or uncommon intervals, but also singing from perhaps unusual solfege to unusual solfege. Okay, something like I don't know, just spitballing here. Something like T up to La down to Re. I don't know. That definitely does work in some contexts. But in any case, we're just singing more intervals that aren't, of course, just do, mi, so, mi, do. Okay? So, before we get into that, let's go ahead and do some warm-up. Okay? Let's do a major scale. 1, 2, major scale. Drop the key on fa there. Sorry, here we go. Let's do melodic minor. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, let's do one more. 1, 2, major scale. Okay, so first one up today. Okay, good old Schubert. Notice that these melodies are also going to still have our subdivisions. Okay, subdivisions are here to stay. First of all, what key would we be in? We've got 5 sharps, no obvious presence of any sort of accidentals, and we start and end on B. So if it's the key of B major and we start and end on B, we're in fact in B major. Now, this starts off pretty straightforward, okay? Starts on Do, goes to Sol, right? That's really straightforward. The first third of this is quite straightforward. Then we get a little bit odder, right? Because we go, instead of from Sol down to Do, for instance, or down to somewhere else, we go from Sol up to La, and then skip, or rather leap, up to Re, right? That's what makes this one particularly weird, but it establishes a kind of sequence, right? And then it gets normalized, okay? So, I already just gave you about half the pitches there, but in any case, let's go ahead and try this out. First time through, okay, I want you to sing this without me, and then we'll go back through and sing it again with me. So, the last scale we warmed up on is in fact this key. Almost like I planned that. 1, 2, major scale. Okay, starts on Do. This is going to be our 8th note tempo. I'm going to go ahead and, as a courtesy, I'm going to tap my my knee here along with you. Ready? This is the 8th note. I'm going to give you 4 full beats. 1 and 2 and ready and go. Okay, so, a couple things. I would imagine that the 16th notes may have caught some of you off guard, because even at that tempo, bum, 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 so on, a little bit quick. In addition, we've got a big old leap at one point from Do up to La, and then up to Do again. Okay, so hopefully we all caught that. And then the end gets really intervallic. We go from Mi way up here, to Sol down here, to Do, to La, to Sol, to Do. Totally common and logical, internally kind of set of notes here. Right? But it's just a lot of intervals for us to have to sing. So this is a great one to work through for kind of vocal flexibility across large intervals. So let's do this one more time at the same tempo. This time I'm going to help you out on the keyboard. Make sure that you double check any sort of issues that you had so far. And let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, pardon me. 1, 1, and 2, and ready, and go. Yeah, so I'm guessing that 2 times through might not be enough for that one. So instead of belaboring repeats over and over again, this is an excellent example to get really comfortable, because this one's got a lot of really wide intervals in a completely expected tonal context. So this is a great one to come back to in preparation perhaps for your midterm. So in any case, let's go ahead and move on. Let's do another one. Bass clef now. Okay, first of all, what key would we be in? Well, we start up with F up to B in the key of D. However, we do see A sharps in there, so it's perhaps not D major, but in fact B minor. We are in the key of B minor. Okay, let's go ahead and actually, I don't know why I'm playing it for you. Let's go ahead and sing B harmonic minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I want to draw your attention to something before we sing this that's quite interesting and striking. Okay, so the first part, straightforward. Right? Straightforward. But then we go up to Re. Okay, instead of going here, we go. Right? But look what happens. We go from Re down to the A sharp, down to T, and then on the way to Sol, we add in a G, right? So we have an augmented second. That A sharp and that G are 3 semitones away, right? Can we all sing this is the first measure of the second staff? Okay, we start on Re. Ready? Okay, and I'll go down to T. Now go down to Le. Now go to Sol. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. That's what's so interesting about this one. And another situation where a weird interval isn't necessarily big. In this case, it's a pretty small interval. It's an augmented second. But that's a pretty... Oh, pardon me. Kind of an odd sound for us. Okay? So, same as the last time. I want you to go ahead and do this one without me. And I'll go ahead and tap along. And then we'll go ahead and come back together. This time I'm going to give you a bit more time to prepare because this one's got a little bit more going on. So, more time to prepare. I'm going to actually give you 30 seconds. Take a look at this. Look for any weird intervals. Orient yourself to your tonic and your dominant solfege pitches. And we'll regroup in 30 seconds. Okay, here we go. Okay, sing Sol. Okay, ready? Here we go. Same thing as last time. This is the 8th note. I'm going to go ahead and clap us in the 3.5 beats before our pickup. This time through, you're on your own. Ready? 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, hopefully we ended together. I may have picked up a beat somewhere in the middle there, in any case. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So hopefully you caught, right? And hopefully then the reset back to, right? From where it's marked forte to the end is all pretty straightforward tonal stuff. Really the weirdest part of this is that second staff first measure, okay? So let's go ahead and do that one more time. Pick up any issues that you may have had, rhythmic or pitch or otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and play with you this time, okay? So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Rest. Rest. Okay, so this one's pretty low in terms of range. So again, when in doubt, switch octaves as need be. And in fact, if you can nail that by jumping up an octave, that'd be great, okay? Just as a good kind of octave equivalent skill to have. So, in any case, the whole final portion of section 12.3, where I took this one from, talks about kind of augmented seconds and kind of these weirder small intervals versus the first part of 12.3 just kind of more generally weird diatonic intervals. So that's singing for today. Let's go ahead and end by doing a single melodic dictation. Okay, so it's our only dictation for this week, and I assigned you some singing, so hopefully we're feeling pretty good on dictation. It's been a pretty melodic dictation heavy quarter so far, with all of your homeworks and such. So I'm deciding to go a little light on it this week so we can give more time to harmonic dictation. So here we go. 8 measures. I'm going to give you 6 listens. This is for both the rhythmic and the intervallic kind of consequence of this. It is in D flat major and begins on Mi. Okay? Starts right there. Okay? I'm going to go the same 8th note tempo we've been singing at, okay? 8 measures of 3/4, 6 listens. I'm tapping the 8th note. Okay, ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and. So because of our newfound understanding of subdivisions, the rhythmic component of this gets particularly tricky. So you have 6 listens. I would devote your second listen to catching more contour, but really trying to nail rhythm so you can spend your middle listens figuring out kind of the odd parts. Okay, and then your final 2 listens polishing things up. So here we go. This is listen 2 of 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, here's lesson 3 of 6. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, so we're at the halfway point. This is lesson 4 of 6. 4 of 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, here we go. Lesson 5 of 6. So, at this point, hopefully you have a good idea of rhythm. Hopefully your beginning and your end is pretty comfortable. Hopefully you've got a bunch of your notes, and right now you're polishing up specific moments that have tricked you or really questionable intervals, of which there are several in here. So, here we go. Pardon me? Made it a little, satie-ish for a second there. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, everybody. 6th and final listen. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this one. So, I give you a pretty hard dictation, but it's the only one for this week. So, fair compromise, I hope. So, this one's got a lot of particularly wide intervals, okay? But they all generally still conform to our understandings of certain pitches and tendencies. So let's take a look at this. This is actually Bach. This is a gorgeous piece, I think. And at that tempo, it doesn't really sound like Bach. So we start on Mi, and we don't... The reason why it sounds perhaps tricky is because we don't really get a solid Do until the third measure from the end, and we immediately leave it, right? Right? We go Sol, La. Hopefully we all caught that. Sol, La. This is one of those weird intervals. We go from Sol, La, way down to Ti, and then up to Fa, which goes into tritone. But then we have Re, which sounds like it wants to go to Do, but it doesn't. It goes up to Ti. Right? So, sometimes the trickier intervals can be kind of figured out by hearing what you were supposed to hear and then setting your new note relative to that. So what it sounds like it should be is... But we don't have that. It's... Right? Right? So trying to hear whatever these weird intervals are as kind of delayed arrivals of other notes is a way to go about this too. And the more that we practice this, the more we kind of start to hear, well, Fa goes down to Mi, La goes down to Sol, Ti goes up to Do, right? Those kind of tendencies. And in a piece like this, our weird intervals are created by avoiding those tendencies, right? So in the second half, it sounds like it should go down to Fa, but it doesn't. It goes up, right? So it sounds like it should be this. Right? But we don't have that. And then at the end, this just gets kind of cadency. Right? Catching that the Mi in that last measure starts where it does, and you didn't put the downbeat as Do, is pretty tricky, because it doesn't end on 1. So that's kind of what's tricky about this particular example. But this is a particularly tricky and difficult melodic dictation, but it has kind of all the things that this chapter encapsulates. So, this is a great one to kind of revisit and to practice. This is also a great one to learn how to sing yourself, because you get a lot of these really wide intervals, and it's all within a tonal context. You could set all of this to, Bach set it as a keyboard suite. So great. So, that's it for today. Let's talk about what we're doing next time. So, next week is really straightforward. It's the midterm. It's the same format as previous quarters, so expect the same format. I will give an overview video on Monday that goes over day by day the details and also provides you kind of a look at what to expect on the midterm. If you look at what the syllabus has been this quarter, you can expect that, but I'll still go into a little bit more detail what specifically that means. We'll also talk about, and I'll kind of spoil some of the overview video stuff. We're going to schedule on Monday. I will set out a Google Doc on GachoSpace. We will schedule one-on-one 15-minute appointments that will be for sight singing and for prepared singing, like we would normally do. In addition, that will be a time where I can give you kind of a mid-quarter kind of check-in with how you're doing in terms of grades. And then Friday will be your dictation final, or your dictation midterm, and that will be take-home, just kind of like how last quarter's was. But again, I will have all of those details in more detail, more succinctly, on Monday's video. So that is it for this week. In the meantime, review old videos, review material that you need help with, and if you ever have any questions, feel free to just let me know, okay? So with that, I will see all of you next time.